Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different musical, video and audio elements of the videos that I watch, and today is a continuation of Arcane Month. This is a month during which I am reacting to and analysing a variety of covers of music from the TV show Arcane. And you've already had the spoiler warning, but before this video in particular, I am going to say please do not watch this unless you have seen the whole of Arcane. This comes from episode 9 of season 2, the final episode, and I haven't seen this video yet, obviously, but I can tell from the first frame that this is going to spoil the bit where this music happens in the show, which is about 20 minutes before the end of the series. So please don't spoil yourself if you haven't seen it. This show is so good, and you owe it to yourselves to see this in context, because it's so damn cool when it happens. Hopefully anybody who hasn't seen it, or I guess there are some folks who just aren't going to, but hopefully everybody who doesn't want to be spoiled has left. So this is going to be a RaneMusic's metal cover of Stray Kids, Young Miko, and Tom Morello's song "Come Play" from season 2, episode 9. There we go. And yes, that Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave. It's wild to me, the people that they got involved in this endeavor, Arcane. It's nuts. They got so many major artists. I'm personally not particularly familiar with Stray Kids, and I'm not familiar at all with Young Miko. But what amazes me is that combination. I mean, here we have a K-pop band, a Puerto Rican rapper who used to be a footballer, apparently, according to Wikipedia, and the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine. What a bananas combination, and yet they came together to create this fantastic piece of music for Jinx's entry into the final massive battle at the end of Arcane, and holy smokes was it a cool moment. She comes in with that hot air balloon, and if you look at the design of it and then look carefully at the workshop area that she was working in for Silco all that time, that is the hot air balloon. It's just taken off, like she's lifted it out, and she brings it in, Gatling gun at the ready, bringing Echo with her, and arrives with such style and so much sort of class and sass and well, no, maybe not class, but certainly sass and panache. It's phenomenal, and it's a wonderful moment. It turns the tide of that battle for a hot second, and it's just incredible. This piece of music is exactly the right tone for that moment, and I'm really excited to see it turned into a metal cover, because I think it leans a little bit towards the direction Tom Morello was coming from, which is going to be interesting because it means it's got a degree of DNA in it already that works, but you know, it's doing this thing that's going to be very different from the original. So yeah, really keen to see this. I also just think it's a very cool piece of music, and I'm excited to see somebody do something with it. Yeah, so I don't have much more to say about this one. We'll see what gets shown during the course of the video. So I will say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this through from beginning to end, commenting and emoting over the top of it. I will then come back, watch it a second time, and this time pause, interrupt, and offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've just seen and heard and the foreknowledge of the one prior viewing. Please do hit... Oh, firstly, actually, please do check the description down below for a link to RaneMusic's channel and to this video in its original form. Please go and support the artist, and also go and check out the original because it's just fantastic. Please do hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell, and if you'd care to support the channel, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, at patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those very gratefully received, if you would care to do so. And that's about it. So without any further delay, let's bring this video up and check out what RaneMusic has done with Stray Kids, Tom Morello, and Young Miko's song, Come Play. Yes! Awesome intro.
You're not alone.
Yes, I love that vocal quality. Ooh, that shift though. I like the weight combined with keeping very clean melody. I like the switch between English and German too. This switch is just so amazing. Love the handheld camera too. Great cuts. The editing is superb. Oh, I love that shot. Yes! Oh, that's superb. The editing in this video is really, really good. Oh, yes! That's really good! What a great cover! This is fantastic. This is a relatively new artist, I believe. I just want to double check. By which I mean, you know, in terms of gaining... Yeah, he's got 21,500 subscribers, but putting out music of that quality, I would be very surprised if that doesn't increase substantially. When would this come? This came out December 14th last year, so it's been out for almost a year. This needs more views. Why does this not have more views? It's really good. There also aren't that many covers of this song. And it's a fantastic piece, so more of that, please. Let's have a look and see what he says down below. With Season 2 came a new wave of amazing songs for me to cover. Correct. One of them was this bot by Stray Kids. Hearing it the first time, I already knew this would make a neat metal cover. Correct also. And having finished it, I can say I wasn't wrong. And instrumental and tabs are available on his Patreon. That's love. I really like it when people do covers of music and then post their arrangement, because it's really enjoyable seeing what they did and being able to recreate it yourself if you are so inclined and able. So I really like that. This is fantastic. I really like that. I think that he's got the tone and the kind of craziness of the song with the editing of the video, and he allows that to do a little bit of the heavy lifting in that sense, so that he can keep the cover. You've got these lovely changes that throw a little bit of a spanner into the works, but it keeps it moving forward and keeps it cohesive in a really good way. I like that a lot. Let's go back, check it out again, see what I can pull out. So firstly, this is the shot where Jinx enters. You see it from here, and you'll see in a second in the video, you have the speakers, like a sort of almost gramophone-like horn speakers that are on the hot air balloon, and Jinx is playing the music out of that. This is diegetic, and I love that so much, because you have this moment right here where everybody kind of stops fighting and is like, what's going on? Because they hear the music before they see the balloon. Presumably these guards that we can see here up on the bridge. are able to see what's coming, but nobody else can. And it's just this awesome moment where everything stops because Jinx is entering the scene, which is so cool. And I love that that's the frame that he chose to start the video on, because it's where the song does start. So he's tracking, at least at the beginning of the video, where things are. I also like his logo. That's a really cool design. I think if you're going to put something like this at the beginning of the video, you either keep it incredibly plain or you do something awesome, and this is awesome. And that's interesting. He has his own logo, which is quite detailed. I really appreciate that he puts an Arcane Season 2 spoiler warning at the top, because that first shot isn't a spoiler, but pretty much everything else that he puts in this video is. So thank you very much for having the decency to include that. But yeah, here we have a very, very simple thing, and this doesn't need to be complicated. He's already had his little logo thing, and I like that he keeps this simple. He uses it as a moment to allow you to digest the fact that you're about to hit spoilers. So this is a very functional title card. That's actually kind of awesome. I really like the harmony, that that sort of alarm sound, which is what happens in the show. But there's the na, 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 na. Yeah, you've got the minor sixth there as just a little bit of harmony. But that kind of alarm, it's kind of cool because Jinx is entering, about to absolutely wreck the opposing army. And I love that she comes into this kind of type sound that's going on in both the original and the way that Rane has chosen to represent it here. It's just a very cool sound, and I really like the focus on that harmony. It just gives us something a little bit more to listen to than just that octave jump, which is kind of cool. Great intro, just that awesome, the simple da-da-da-da-da, just matching the rhythm of the melody on the drums. Absolutely perfect run into it, kind of gives us that momentary build-up. Without sort of hanging around too long. There's no need to for this. We can just jump into it. He does a great job with that part of the arrangement. Just let's go. We know what's happening. Let's just go. I really like the fact that we have this. This starts with a little bit of distortion for the alarm, if you like, and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da as we go down there. Then we get into the heavy sort of metal sound, full distortion, and we get a repetition of that descent with focus on the guitar. And that, I really like the fact that he chose to cut to the guitar for that moment. Sure, it's the most interesting thing that's going on, but it also pulls the ear to it because we're watching it happen. And I've said this a few times. If there's a lot of things happening musically or visually, or I guess not visually, that's kind of missing my point, but if it's musically or audio in any way, if you show something on screen, your ear will pick that thing out because you're as long as you know what it is, you're associating those two things. So here, you can pick out that da-da-da-da-da-da. You know that notes are moving, even if you don't know, looking at a guitar, how to tell what somebody's actually playing on it, and so intuitively it pulls that to the forefront. But I do also just want to listen to the weight of this sound that he's created here. It's really, we've jumped down from the alarm sound to the same octave jump, but way bassier, and so it's giving it now. We've sort of had that warning, and now this crash down that's really emphasized. Pardon the cut, just had a massive sneezing fit. It's really emphasized by the weight that he puts into it there, and it allows him to continue, but also to change it up in a really cool way for the beginning of this. I really love the choice of vocal technique that he's using here. You've got this very growly, deep kind of death metal growl kind of thing that's going on here. And it's awesome because it kind of feeds into the sort of slightly rappy style of this that the rhythm implies. this could be more sung. You could put more of a melody to it if you wanted to, but it doesn't need it. And doing it in this deep growl seats it in metal whilst also kind of keeping the vibe not completely dissimilar. There are little hints of what's going on there in the original still present in this, and I like the fact that he's done that. You can always feel a little bit of a connection to how the original goes, even though the sound is completely his own. Great choice.
You're not alone. Look at my shadow right behind you like a ghost.
Also, can we just talk... I'm not going to talk much about Arcane artwork in this, because that's not what I'm here for, but this section in particular...
You're not alone.
This is one of my favourite stills. I mean, obviously there's a few frames here, wherever you choose to stop it, but this is just so effortlessly cool. Like, Jinx has really graduated into such a badass at this point in time, and this still here is truly phenomenal. And it kind of sits well with this very growly vocal because it's giving her a gravitas that this is implying. Notice how the angle of the camera is a little bit Dutch. Dutch meaning not straight on. In this case, it's very, very slightly tilted. I guess as you're seeing me on the screen that way. And also, you've got this very high power camera angle because we're low down. Notice the size of Jinx's foot. And she's a very small woman, so the implication here, you know, it's a small foot, and yet we're seeing it massive right now, and we're looking from there up. And how powerful does that make her look? And it's great because it then means in 10 minutes or so into this battle, when she's suddenly on the back foot, you know, she's come in super powerful and still been bested for a minute. And I think it's fantastic. The scene setting in this is great. But yeah, I really like what Rane's choice of sound overall here is doing to kind of beef up her presence in this. Back in a minute. I'm going to sneeze again. Okay, here we go.
You're not alone. Look at my shadow right behind you like a ghost. Vision dialecting as it goes away I flow. Taking all the sounds, getting free flows. Beast mode, double snake, guys, turn them all to slow.
And that particularly extra, the really deep growl there at the end, fantastic. I like what he's choosing to do with the editing. I was saying a couple of times during the watch through that the editing in this video is superb, and I like the fact that we get to see, like we did in that intro,
Look at my shadow right behind you like a ghost.
here, we get to see just a little bit about what he's doing with the guitar.
Vision dialecting as it goes away I flow. Taking
And you can hear that's that little scrape that he does down the string there. You could hear it a little bit more because we're seeing it. And he does this a bit. He features things that he's doing, and I like that. I also like that he's not shy in his vocal takes of actually, you know, here we've got the little gunshot. Like, he's moving. He's doing things during the video. And so it kind of brings us in a little bit more to his rendition of this by sort of working with the lyrics in terms of the actions that he's doing, which is a great choice.
all the sounds, getting free flows. Beast mode, double snake, guys, turn them all to slow.
I also like how melodic this is. Listen to the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. There's definite melody to the way, the lilt. Lilt's the wrong word. That's far too airy for such a deep sound. But the sort of motion that he's got in the vocals, you can hear, even though it's kind of mostly spoken, you can hear a little bit of tune to it here.
Way I flow, taking all the sounds, getting free flows. Beast mode, double snake.
The free flows, beast mode. It's got that little bit of just sort of it's melodic in term, even though it's mostly kind of growly, and that's really, really nice because it keeps it interesting. It keeps it from being one note, which, you know, he's got a lot of character to his voice, so it wouldn't be, but that really enhances that.
Guys, turn them all to slow. You're certain of war when many hits all the time.
I also like this. I'm not going to keep stopping quite so frequently, but I like the variety of camera work that we've got going on here, because we have these cuts to what's actually happening in the show. We also have these still camera shots where we're really focusing on something, and then he's got this take that he's done, or a couple of takes, whatever it is, that he's done of his vocals, where he's actually holding the camera on a selfie stick. Or at least I assume that's how he's doing it. And that's actually really nice because it gives it a slightly unsettled feel because the camera is never fully steady in these moments. And this is Jinx we're talking about. We've seen already this month how kind of wild her character is, and this plays into it a little bit, and I think that's really cool. I like that very seamless transition into German. If I think about it, just for the benefit of those who don't know this song as well, when I do the watch through, well, I'll have done it by the time you get to this point in the video, but I'll have put up the English translation of what's actually being sung at that point, just so you have a point of reference. But I love that very seamless transition into German, and it's nice having. I like songs being done in two languages, and this show kind of gives you the scope to play around with stuff like that a little bit, the way these songs are written, but you know, there's scope for language to enter into the conversation, and I always think that's cool. I really like what's happening in the bass. If you listen to the bass for a hot second here. Just hinting back to that octave jump at the beginning. Bum bum ba bum bum. There's nice little chromatics there that are an unsettling sound depending on how you present them, and he's doing it well. And now we drop down. Now we drop down to that minor sixth, but it's in a major tone this time. So where it was harmony for the alarm at the beginning, this time around it's a little bit more settled. And then, out of nowhere, we go into this gentle, airy quality with this much higher, clean vocal, which is so unexpected, and I love it because it gives us this moment of reprieve between the verse and the chorus, and I think it's such a great choice. It's... And just the gentleness of those drums too. The it's there. There's a pulse, but it's in the background. And there's the way that the harmony is coming through as well. I want to listen. Sorry. It's got this airy quality to it that's being given it to it by this. It's doubled with this very echoey sound, and I think it's great because it gives it this sort of ethereal quality, but he's able to keep the vocals incredibly clean, and so it's a nice blend because it's got this almost sort of drifting feeling to it because of that echo. And I think that that's actually a really nice combination because it lets him play with the character of the vocal without changing the sort of timbre of the primary vocal particularly. And I think it's just such great decision making in terms of how this has been mixed. And a lovely, the simple addition of that almost martial drum is nice because this is a battle theme kind of, but mixed in with the fact that is also a great lead in to come back into the heavy sound again. Great stuff. Absolutely fantastic. The bass is doing a lot of heavy lifting here because you got the this lovely motion that's going on there that's emphasized. It's giving this some real weight, but I like the fact that it goes up. You have the it doesn't stay low. It would have been easy to do that sort of thing. I have no idea what my lower register is doing now, and I don't know why I'm singing that low. It's really hard when you have full headphones on. But I like that, and I think it gives it this sense of gravitas, but it doesn't go too low. It doesn't get muddy, which could have happened. Also, like, shots like this, every single scene in this show has moments that you could just turn into a print and have hanging on a wall. Like, it's the style oozes out of it. It's so good. I think he's doubled himself. I think, if I'm hearing it right. I've got pretty good volume. Sometimes these headphones, the one thing with them is they don't always pick up those sort of really bassy sounds. But unless I'm much mistaken, I think he's doubled himself with a growl very quietly in the background. And that's a really nice choice because he's singing this melody cleanly, but you can still feel that grit coming through, which I think is really smart. It's like that sort of thing in the background somewhere, and that's a really nice choice. This choice to come back in with this very broken guitar part, this da ka da da, this military kind of drum, slow military drum. It's a really great way to change this up a little bit. We know what the sound of this verse is now, so we don't need the full thing. And it's a nice evolution now to have this kind of broken sound underneath. I also like that, again, beautiful editing, the minigun starting to whir up, and just as it does, in comes the full instrumentation again. Again, that break, dum dum dum, just that little break that focuses on the bass for a second. Again, we see the bass, so we can focus on what is being featured at that point in time. But it's a really nice touch because it means that we're kept constantly on edge. You can never quite sit comfortably in this arrangement, and that's really what I feel like the vibe of this song kind of should be and is. And again, he's giving us so much character. That kind of more wide sound that he's got going on there. It just changes up what we're listening to again. It's fantastic. Very versatile vocalist, clearly. And now it's like, and there's I can't remember how many members of Stray Kids there are. 8 plus young Miko plus, you've got so many vocalists in the original, and he's representing that because now we've got that kind of quality going on in the voice. So it's like he's representing the different vocalists with different degrees of growl and whatever that he's putting into his voice. It's so good. From here, right? Also, German is just such a fantastic language for metal. It lends itself, the kind of guttural nature of it lends itself so well to that style of music. And then we go back to this airiness, and I like that kind of, we get that selfie camera again for just a second, and then that kind of quick transition that sort of throws you around a little bit. He's keeping this video fascinating to watch, and I think that's really smart because it pulls us just further into what he's doing. It's really, really well put together. And I love what he's doing with lights here. We've seen that a little bit in covers of this play with light. And the show plays with color incredibly well. You can see that just from the shots we're seeing here. It really is a show that features color very, very heavily. And I like that people are using that when they're doing covers. And I love, there's a really nice touch there, which is just you have this dum, dum in the bass. It's got so much rhythm in it the whole way through this arrangement. And just for a second, that really peels back. I like that a lot. Again, the cut. If you want to come play, as Savika punches down and takes somebody out. It's the editing in this is superb. I like his use as well. Like, we have... I want to go back... I'm talking about the video a fair bit, but I think he's done a really good job. We've got... like, these flashy cuts like we just had there. We know that scene with Savika, and then you cut to the machine gun firing, or the minigun firing, and then you get a shot like this. And I love that in the monsters in my head, we focus on Warwick looming over Vi, and not only is it that it's Warwick, but it's Warwick with these creepy freaking automaton things in the background. And it's this slow rise up, and it gives you a second to think about the meaning of that lyric, and I think he's playing with how he edits versus the lyrics incredibly well. Ooh. I just realized that was quite a good match cut, wasn't it? Bass. Guitar. That's a really good match cut. Well done, sir. That can't have been easy to find a moment to do that. I mean, it's great because he's obviously consistent in how he holds his instruments, but just that cut between the two, slick. And again, we get to see what he's doing for the guitar solo. The guitar is the feature right now, so let's focus on it. I also love that he's filmed it from 2 angles, so you can kind of get a clear view of what's going on. It's nice, because you could focus on the one guitar from one angle for this whole solo, but it would be a little bit dull compared to the pacing of the rest of the video. And so I think that's a great choice. Also, you get to see those nice hammer-ons that he's doing there, which is where you hit the string on a particular fret to sound that note without plucking the string. So it allows you to be incredibly fast, and B, it gives you a different sound of the attack on the note, which is the initial strike. Like, if I've got a glass table here, if I hit it, that is essentially just pure attack, is that kind of knock, because there's nothing really else to it. And if you're playing a piano, when you hit a piano note, you get that knock as the hammer is struck, or does the striking, rather, strikes the string. With a guitar, when you pluck a string, you get that little momentary hit, which is that initial twang back of the string. When you do a hammer-on, you don't get that, because it's immediately subsumed into the length of the note. And so it changes the tone of that solo a little bit. And I like the fact that we get to see him doing it. Also, again, this incredible shot, which is, I'm seeing, as I look at these videos, I'm also catching moments of callback. Like in season 1, we have that incredible jump in the 5th episode, I think it is. You get that incredible scene when Vi's descending back into Zorn, where she leaps and it strikes this kind of pose, and you see her from way further back, but sailing across the background. And here you have that same thing again. It's that same motion sailing across, but this time more frantic and being chased by all of these things. Arcane is a freaking masterpiece, people. It really is.
If you wanna come play.
And what a perfect shot. That slow motion flying through the air for that doom. And then if you wanna come play, and back in again. And I love the change of pace even in the video, right? We see this shot for just a second. Also, damn, that's a cool still. I haven't frozen on that before. And then just for a second, you're getting the continuation of the slow motion, and then poof! She fires the rocket on the back of the glove. And all of a sudden, we see 3 characters in hot succession. Because we see... I can't... That's a hard stop. We see Vi. We can see Jinx and actually Vanda, right? Warwick. Fighting there in the corner, so 4 characters. And then Echo flies in. And all of a sudden, there's so much going on, and he's matching the tone of his chorus extremely well, I think. Nice match cut again. And I love that growl in the "come play" at the end. It's got that little bit of aggression to it that just kind of cuts this thing. So even though it cuts dead, the little bit of growl that is in there makes it feel almost a tiny bit unfinished, because it's an unclean final note, and I mean that as a deliberate choice. That's not a criticism. It gives it this little sense of there's more to come, and also, do you want to come play? We're finishing on the 5th there. It just leaves it open as a final note. Really, really good choice. This is such a good rendition of this song. RaneMusic has done a seriously good job with this one. Well done, sir. Fantastic cover. Very impressed. Yeah, I'm glad I chose to watch that one. I wasn't sure where I was going to get this one from, because there were only so many covers of it, which is crazy to me, because it's been a year almost, and it's such a good piece of music. But I guess a lot of covers for the original season started coming out about a year after the season was up. So maybe we'll see a few more coming shortly. But yeah, great stuff. Really enjoyed that. Well played. Literally. And I hope that you enjoyed that. If you hadn't come across this gentleman before, he obviously does some very good music. Go and check him out. And maybe you've seen this video before, and hopefully if you have done, I was able to bring something to you that made you go, oh yeah, that's really cool. You know, or something like that, or, oh, that's why I like that bit. Those are the kind of things I'm trying to achieve with this, and hopefully I have managed to do so at some point for somebody, and I'll be a very happy man if I did. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for being here with me, especially if you're still here at the end of the video. I really appreciate the time you spend with me. Please do hit the like button, the notification bell, and the subscribe button, and, oh, let's reverse those two, subscribe then notification. And if you'd care to support the channel, you can head to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can leave a one-off donation of any amount. You can head to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can sign up for $2 or $4 Canadian or your regional equivalent, and that gives you access to my Discord and its ongoing support for the channel, and there will be more happening to that Patreon next year. There are also, depending on where this video falls in Arcane Month, there have been some sneak peeks going out on the Patreon, and if we are further away than a week, so if it's before about November 9th, let's say, then they're about to get a early preview of a video I'm going to be releasing on the channel. It's the first time I've done that, and it's because that video is going to be a little bit special, and I wanted to give it to them first. But it will be on the channel in about a week's time after that. But if you want some early access, you can go over there and check it out. And you can also leave a super thanks here on YouTube if you'd care to do so. And any of those gratefully appreciated, but no pressure. Thank you again for joining me. Really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. Let's go for 8:32 a.m. See if there's an early riser watching it on their way to work or something like that. But yes, thank you again. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video in Arcane Month. Bye for now.